do I would like to spend my energy on, and what kind of feelings, right, emotions that I would like to spend my energy on, and saying that, right? So okay, my especially my team, right, they would be thinking that, okay, let's not focus our energy on this, let's just shift from this, like that. Okay, let's just talk about the happier things, that kind of thing, kan? So choose where you would like to spend your energy on. So you know what, Malar, I think it's easy to do it because as you practice it a lot, because like last time I pun meletup senang, right? But then I'm thinking, right? Coming from empathy, not everyone has gone through the kind of practice or had the opportunity to realize it earlier in their life, that get to practice that, choosing where do I spend my energy on, like shifting. So people say this to me. So I can only use myself as an example and ask questions, hoping that people could relate to it, lah, right? In this, the audience could relate to it, and they can take whatever that you'll be sharing as a way forward, right? Okay, so people would say to me, Nini, you shift cepat sangat lah. Your emotional shift is too fast. You're like laughing, you can be angry at one time, and then suddenly you're laughing and conversation like usual already. Because I feel that, choosing where I would spend my energy or emotions on is very crucial for me to move forward, right? But there are times that I feel that I'm shifting too fast as well. But then, how do we speak to people, or how do we have people understand, because you're a coach in this realm, right? That how can people understand it better, or how can one person could actually practice that faster? That's my question.
Practice what faster?
Practice that, focus, choosing the kind of energy that you want to spend on a certain subject or situation or incident or whatever lah, that everyday thing, right? Like you say just now loosely, I'm stressed about this, and therefore I want to stress, but again after 1 24 hours you don't even remember what you were stressing about, right? That kind of thing. But then as that person are stressing on that one thing, when you say, tak payah stress lah on that thing, tak payah nak spend energy lah on that thing. Like, but you don't understand, that kind of thing, right? So that how can we um I think I'm guilty of this. I just couldn't. Why couldn't you just shift? Why couldn't you just choose what your energy that you want to spend on which one, kan? Like that.
Yeah.
So, but how can we communicate this better to a person? It's like more like your tip lah to our audience.
Ayo, I don't know lah. I would have been a millionaire if I could do that. I'll tell you why. Because I think you've just answered your question. You perfect what you practice, right? So, and I've tried this, and I won't spend my energy on it because people will come into my class and say, I want you to change who I am. You know what? That's not my job. It's like telling a student going to a teacher and saying, you need to teach me. No. I teach what I know. You need to have an open mind and the desire to learn and solve your problems. I'm not too sure whether people will agree, but that's where I am at a space, because you cannot force change. You cannot force practice, right? What I can do, when we talk about motivation, now I cannot motivate you, but I can create experiences that you can connect to.
Awesome.
So what we do, right, is we create experiences. If you connect to the experience, then you will say you are motivated, and you will say I have motivated you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But actually,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't motivate you. My contribution, if anyone is motivated, is I created experience, and that experience worked for you. Now, the reason it worked is because you were open to exploring life and meaning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If people who are not open, right? Some people will come, I am closed, I'm going to put you to test. You know what? I'm not interested.
I
Right?
know what you mean.
Yeah. So motivation is very much the meaning we connect to. And we all connect to motivation. We are all motivated. Otherwise, we won't be walking, talking, eating it, and living. To live
Mm-hmm.
is to be motivated,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you don't want to live, that's when you're not motivated,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, going into, so what, when we are motivated, what are we doing? We are connecting to an underlying meaning. But a lot of us also don't know what is the underlying. We don't think about it. We don't connect to ourselves. But once you connect with yourself, you begin to understand what motivates you. Then you will find that you are open to change. You're open to
Mm-hmm.
living, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if people are not going to be reflecting, people are not going to find this connection, people want easy way out. Whatever you practice is what you perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to say, you need to practice this, because this is not important enough for you to want to practice. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I need to be in a space to accept that this is not important for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I have stopped playing God for a long time now. When I first started, in this job, I thought, I'm God's angel, so I'm going to change the world, right? But then I realized, no, we are all tools. We play if you're an instrument, be the best instrument, play the best music. But the best music is a combination of the tool and the player and the skill. The best music doesn't come overnight, right? But and
Mm-hmm.
think about any form of art, right? People, so if you think about a musical instrument, right? I always imagine the first person who started a musical instrument did it intuitively by being connected to himself or herself, right? And the best music players play the best music that is best for them. I think the problem with us right now is we want to play music that people applaud. There is a disconnect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason why I was asking question about the choosing where do I spend my energy on, because I guess that there are just so many instances that I hear stress. People get so worried, get and it gets in the way,
Mm,
and get really stressful, and it gets in the way of moving forward.
mm.
I feel this is my
Yeah.
point of view, right? So then, and that creates just stress. And when is the moving forward lah, right? So that I'm guilty of that. So I'm hearing right now like, oh, stress, stress, stress. Okay, so I'm waiting to that punchline. So when are you going to move forward lah, kan? Like that.
But
So
you see,
that.
with some people, maybe they don't need to move forward, can?
Or
Because
maybe.
if you realize, sometimes people like us, career corporate women, right, or the gang ho women, we think people need to keep moving. What makes us think that they are not moving? Again, is perception timeline in the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so again, I would just say, maybe we just need to pause and say, I mean, I will only ask people, are you happy?
Mm-hmm.
If you're happy, continue. If you're not happy, then ask yourself whether you want to change it. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
change it, and you think I can contribute, I am very grateful to be your tool,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you are happy the way you are, just continue because it's working for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that one takes a lot of growing up on my side, because most of the time when I look around, I think people can lead better lives. Correct? That's what I think. But who am I to decide what is better life for you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Uh,
Yep, yep,
so
definitely.
I actually don't have a right? And whether we like it or not, I think there's enough. So the thing is this, right? Change is not logical.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem with intelligent people. We think change is logical. Change
Mm-hmm.
is emotional,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Why? Yeah. So if change was logical, the moment I present you with data, you should be able to change,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are a better we are more educated now. I'm talking generally life, right? People are more educated, people have more opportunities. But as we become more educated and having more opportunities and even better quality of life, what is also happening is that we have a lot of vices that's going up. People are dying of stress. People who seem okay are depressed, are having suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the match?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's not a logical thing. I think the day we realize that to be human is not just logical, if we
Mm-hmm.
recognize that I need to be together as a person, as to be human, I think that's the day you will start seeking who you really are, right? Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of changes are very deep rooted right to our childhood. So if I can just tell
Mm-hmm.
you a story that moved me a lot yesterday. I was in
Mm-hmm.
a session, and people were sharing and all. One story that moved, we were doing personality, and someone said, I have the habit. There were two friends, and one friend said, this friend of mine always brings food over, right? And I just casually turned around and I said, hey, tell me, what does this food mean to you? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I asked, right? And she started relating her story. She said, whenever my parents fought, and my dad was pretty aggressive, my dad would buy food to make up, right? And I didn't realize that that's exactly what I'm doing. I think food makes relationship up, right? And I think that was a major moving, because I just asked the question, what does the food mean to you, right? Since your friend is complaining you always buy food. Now, we didn't realize that that would connect back to her childhood.
Yeah, there's a certain conditioning that happened.
Yeah, and I don't think she realized it either until yesterday, right? And like all of us went into a very long pause and say, you see, everything that we do has a connection to us. Once
Mm-hmm.
we find the connection, then you begin to ask yourself, is it relevant?
Mm-hmm.
Does it put me in a resourceful state?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not willing to revisit the connection that you have made in your life based on your life experiences, which is only you will know, if you're not willing to explore, a lot of people who don't, if you ask them why, right, they get very irritated with you because they don't want to reflect and visit the difficult places. But
Mm-hmm.
when you are courageous to visit the darkest space in your life, light, and when you can see through darkness, you're not afraid of it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah.
when whenever we're going through difficulties, if you really, in especially in therapy, right, they take us to the place that we avoid.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We avoid because it's scary,
Mm-hmm.
right? The reason you visit that space with someone you trust, someone who loves you, or an expert like a therapy is because even though it's dark, someone is holding your hand. Now, once you visit and you open your eyes in the darkness and realize it's okay,
Yeah.
it's not fearful anymore, right? Yeah. And that brings us back to the first question, right? If you are not afraid of your own darkness, you will not be afraid that people will see through you because all of us have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's really really true, and I guess that answers also why going for therapy is still like a hush hush thing in Malaysia, right? So I'm very open about, I go for therapy, and it's been quite a long while that I've been working on myself, right? And people are like, really, you go for therapy, what's going on with you? So sometimes this, it doesn't need like a like big thing that's going on with me. It's just that, it's like maintenance lah, life maintenance, like we makan vitamin like that, right? So I
I'm
need to
work in
perform.
progress, so I need therapy.
Yeah, right. So that as well. And let's summarize, right? By talking about rewiring stress into motivation. How would you summarize it, Malar?
So, if you look at stress, stress is a space. So, if you imagine your whole system, there are two parts to us. Just to give you a metaphor, one is when you're stressed, and when you're stressed, you're not at your best, right? The other one is when you are at your best. Now, when are you at your best? And that's when you say you're motivated. Am I right? Now, motivation has a lot to do with positive meaning that you attach. Stress has a lot to do with the fear and anxiety that you attach. So, how do you transform stress into motivation? First, you need to identify the difference, right? Number one. Number two, ask yourself when you are really stressed, whether it is real, and then connect to a meaning in your life, right? If I can give you a quick MCO example, right? I told you I've been in training for 20 years. When MCO hit us and all the younger trainers were going online virtual training, I just said, I wish I could retire. And I really did consider maybe, I can't imagine doing virtual because I really love people and I love face to face, right? And technically I won't pride myself in terms of skills, right? Now, so that was very stressful, right? And I needed to calm down first. So when you're stressed, you need to calm down first to think clearly, right? After I calm down, so then you pay attention to what calms you down. So for me, what calms me down, whenever I don't know what to do, I read books and I talk to people who give me sound advice, who can give me one tight slap and say, chill, right? So, and that's what I do. I don't talk to everybody. I read a book. Of course, I pray. I read a book, and I talk to people whom I think who will understand where I'm coming from, where I can be vulnerable. So, what do I need? So, if you're stressed, what do I need for me to calm down? After you have calmed down, then you need to ask yourself, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to move forward? This is where you're attaching meaning to what you're doing. All right. So, why do I want to do? I realize that, for me, training is not just a job, it's my vocation, right? And if people have moved on, I ask myself, by saying I'm not going to do this anymore, will I be happy? No. I love this, right? You're taking the love of my life, right? And so what I needed to do is I said the content remains the same, but the way it's dressed up has changed, right? And then I asked myself, am I willing to play dress up to see whether I like it? That's all. I played dress up. I got into virtual courses. I got into a group of friends who were supportive. I learned how to humble myself and say, I really don't know how to do this damn thing, right? As you begin to play dress up, you move from fear to being relaxed to enjoying it, right? Today, if you ask me, do I enjoy virtual training? Absolutely. All right. And yesterday was my first face-to-face training. I was so grateful for that. Right? Is one better than the other? Not really, because now I can see virtually, the connection that I can get is so wide. That is the meaning that I've created over time. But for me to think well, I need to calm down. I need to get the right support system. I need to get the right help. So two things, clarity and competence gives you confidence. So you need to be clear about what you want, and then you need to become competent. Some people are clear, but they're not competent. Some people have competency, but they have no clarity. Okay, your clarity and competence equals to your self-confidence in whatever that you want to do. And when you're confident, you're not going to be stressed. You're going to be motivated. Stress comes from a space of not knowing.
Yeah. And there are times that we don't know what we don't know, right?
Yeah, and
Some
that's a
people don't
bliss.
even know.
But that's a bliss. You don't know what you don't know, so nothing to worry.
Yeah. So because some people don't even know that the first step is to actually be clear to what you want, or even, hang on, the first thing that I need to do is just calm down first, to be able to say that to myself that, okay, hang on, I am being stressful right now. This is not working. So what I need to do is just calm down or count from 1 to 100 right now, right? I think that, as I am working with people, that is the toughest thing to get to know
Yeah,
that, okay, to just surrender to the fact that, okay, I'm being stressful right now, I'm being a bitch right now, right? So I better count from 1 to 100 right now, so that I get calmer and I can think better, make better decision,
right.
that.
But the irony of stress is people who are really stressed don't know that they're stressed. It's like when you have a problem and you don't acknowledge the problem, that is your greatest imprisonment, because you can't solve a problem. A lot of the corporate people that I work with, everyone around them can see their stress except themselves, because today's the modern version of success is stress. The more stressed you are, it equals to how much you will achieve, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you equate stress to success or stress to achievement, you need to first relook at, do you truly understand stress? So people who are stressed most of the time don't know that they are stressed, because you'll find in job advertisement they will say, we want to people who work well under stress. Rubbish. Science says when you are stressed you cannot work well. What more you're looking for people who work under stress, right? So we hold a lot of funny opposites. We say we are logical, right? Science will tell you if you're stressed you don't work well, but then you advertise for people who work well under stress. Why don't you make your place to be not stressful? Change your language, right? Change the way you live. You know what I mean? So don't do the most logical thing in life and then we look for logical answers.
Nice. I guess what I'm hearing from you is also, again, get clarity. And if you feel that, there is some telltale, stress can be seen in your physical as well. You start getting sick. So for me, it's very easy. I get my eczema. I will lose weight, and I get like super tired. My body is like feeling drained, right? So being away and not to avoid that, and be clear that you are stressed, calm down, get some clarity. And if you know that, where you are moving, and equip yourself with competence, right?
Correct.
So
Millions.
that, yeah, so that is what I'm hearing from you. So Malar, just for the benefit of the audience, right? Do you offer anything through your practice that people could come and see you? Let's say they need to know whether they're stressful or not. Just to be in the know.
Okay, I won't say I run a I don't contact one to one. What we basically do is that we run sessions to people who reach out to us. We run a particular program called Resilience, how to be resilient. And what are the changes? So first you sort of understand where your adversities are coming from, what is causing you not to solve your issues, and how to move forward. So what we do is we skill people for the right to find their clarity and their competence. That's what we do. All right. But for whatever reason, if people want to connect and tell me, oh, these are my challenges and I need help, what I usually do is I connect them to a true professional. We are Hearts and Minds is a partner with Yayasan, Whyhow, yhow.org. You can check it out, right? And what we do with the ISM is we complement them in terms of the emotional intelligence bit. But Whyhow is a one-stop place that anyone can go to so that you get the right help, right? And that's what I would recommend. So if even if you come to me, if there's something I can do for you, I will do for you. If I can't do something, then what I'll do is I'll pass you to the person who can help you. I think one of the challenges we have is we do not know where to go. And sometimes a lot of time is wasted because you're being passed on to one from one person to another person to another person. Right? And yeah, that's something that I'm very happy to do. Either you come to me directly or you go to Whyhow.
Yeah. And you are contactable via your LinkedIn account, which is
Yeah.
Malar Villi Supramaniam, right? So it's on the screen right now. So, Malar, I
Thank you.
just wish that this conversation could go on and on again, but it's 2 o'clock now. And I am again so sorry about the technical glitch, and it has been awesome. And like I say, I just hope that this conversation could have gone on and on, right? So, people, again, be clear to where you are in your life right now. I guess getting from point A to point B, we need to audit where we even are. We need to know where we are right now. Get clear about it. And when you know where you are moving forward, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And what are the tools that you need to get to where you want or you want to be, right? That so that's competence. So again, Malar is contactable via her LinkedIn account, Malar Villi Subramaniam. And Malar, I will see you right after this when I say bye-bye to the audience. So again, Malar, is there anything you want to say to the audience before you say
No,
bye?
I want to thank you, Nini, for the opportunity. It's such a
My
pity that,
pleasure.
yeah, so I'm glad we continued. So thank you very much for keeping all of us calm under pressure. So one, so I mean, I really want to anyone who's listening in, thank you for listening in because I think they've been very forgiving to have waited from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock because of the glitches. I'm very grateful for opportunities like this because my thoughts, my opinion